I don't know, I thought that life was super normal, as normal as it could be. I grew up just in the suburbs and, kind of this bubble, I guess you would say. Growing up, I guess, in the church bubble was also this whole different thing. Went to Christian school my whole life. I guess life never really hit me until my parents passed away when I was 21. I remember always being told don't do drugs, and I guess just growing up in this super structured house, I always just wanted to rebel against that. But I just remember not really feeling like I was ever comfortable in my own skin. I was massively overweight when I was younger. When I graduated high school, I remember I weighed 320 pounds, feeling different, not feeling necessarily accepted by my peers, or also knowing the fact that I was gay, that played a huge role in my family dynamics, I think, just because it's not the acceptable thing, you know what I mean? I was always this different person growing up. My parents, their job, it afforded us some really nice things. Definitely didn't want to ruin their reputation, and I didn't want to lose the money. I just remember noticing that I was losing weight when I started doing drugs. It first just started with smoking weed, and then that eventually progressed to party drugs, started going to raves. And when I was a senior in high school, I injured my knee. I got prescribed some pain pills. I don't ever really remember taking things as prescribed ever. If one did the trick, then two was great, and three was a fucking party. I had already been taking these pills for maybe a year and a half, and I woke up without them and I didn't know what was happening. So I started buying them on the streets, started buying them on the streets, and when I didn't have my prescription, and that got really expensive. It got really, really expensive. And so, yeah, eventually I started doing heroin. And when my dad passed away, I didn't know what to do at all. He was, my God. After my dad passed away, I just went deeper in it, and I didn't really care. I knew what I was doing. I knew that what I was doing was wrong, but you have that I think that internal confliction, you don't know what to do. I didn't know how to get sober. I didn't know the right thing to do necessarily. I didn't know anything about, recovery or anything like that. So I moved to Arizona, got a really good job, got an apartment in Phoenix, and met a boyfriend. And he was also an addict, but had been sober. Yeah, and then he relapsed, I guess. And I relapsed. I'm really codependent. I need other people, and so he was my higher power. Eventually, my disease took me where I lost my job as well. We both lost our jobs. I was able to save money, and I had some money saved to sustain us for a period of time. But I didn't know what to do when I lost the job and the eviction notice was on the door. Before I knew it, I was living in the dope house. I noticed I was killing myself, and so I met this person at a Circle K. They asked me if I ever heard about Crystal Meth Anonymous, and I said no. And they said, well, you look like you need some help, so meet me here. And so I went to my first meeting, and there were so many things that were going on in my head. Went in, got into this sober living house. Then he came back in the picture, and I eventually relapsed. I came back, and I didn't want to die. It got really bad out there. I was raped a couple times, held at gunpoint a few times. I was just sick and tired, and I remember you want to die, but you're too much of a pussy to kill yourself. And I remember having, I had a taste of the solution. I had a taste of what life could be like. And so I remember that, and I held on to that. I started listening to what the people in the rooms were telling me. If nothing changes is what they told me. So life is really different today. It's super different. I wake up and I don't have to put a needle in my arm. But most of all, I have peace of mind, and today I'm okay. When I look at myself in the mirror, I'm okay with what I see. The peace of mind that I have today is no amount of liquor or dope could ever compare to that.